It was an ordinary weekday in the heart of a bustling city. The streets were filled with people going about their daily routines. Among them was Marcus, a homeless man in his late 40s, wearing worn-out clothes and sitting on the sidewalk near a busy cafe. His weathered face told the story of years of hardship. Despite his struggles, there was a sense of quiet dignity about him as he held up a cardboard sign that read, "Looking for a second chance." As the city bustled around him, some walked by without a glance, others dropped spare change in his cup, but most just ignored him completely. Marcus had learned to accept this. People tended to see him for his appearance, not who he was, or the story he carried. But things were about to change. Just as Marcus sat there, a sleek black luxury car rolled up to the curb. The car door opened and out stepped Ethan, a well-dressed businessman in his early 30s. Ethan exuded an air of confidence, his suit pristine, his shoes polished. He barely glanced at Marcus as he walked by, but then stopped and turned around. "Why don't you get a job instead of begging for handouts?" Ethan sneered. He was loud enough for others to hear, a clear show of his disdain. The few pedestrians nearby looked on, some shaking their heads, others looking away. Marcus looked up at Ethan, his expression calm but tired. "I'm doing my best, sir. Life's just not been kind lately." Ethan smirked and shook his head. "No, you're just lazy. People like you want everything for nothing. It's pathetic." His words echoed on the street, and several people stopped in their tracks. Some shot glances of sympathy at Marcus, others muttered in disapproval toward Ethan. But Marcus remained quiet, knowing that arguing would accomplish nothing. Later that afternoon, Ethan arrived at a prestigious business meeting with one of the city's wealthiest investors, Mr. Thomas Green. As Ethan pitched his ideas with his usual confidence, Mr. Green asked him a question that left Ethan uneasy. "I've heard great things about you, Ethan, but, it's not just about numbers and deals. It's about character. Tell me, what's the most important lesson you've learned in your career so far?" Ethan hesitated, unsure how to answer. He had always believed in personal ambition above all else, but Mr. Green's words struck him in a way he didn't expect. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. The room turned as Marcus, now dressed in business attire, walked in with Mr. Green. "This is my son, Marcus Green," Mr. Green said, proudly extending his hand to Marcus. Ethan's eyes widened, his face paling as he recognized the man who had been sitting on the sidewalk hours earlier. "He's not the son of privilege," Mr. Green continued, "but he's shown me what resilience and kindness truly mean." Marcus smiled faintly, locking eyes with Ethan. "Nice to meet you, Ethan." Ethan's mind raced as he processed what was happening. The man he had humiliated earlier that day wasn't just any homeless person. He was the son of one of the most influential men in the business world. In that moment, Ethan felt exposed and ashamed, the weight of his earlier words sinking in. Word quickly spread across social media and the business community. Ethan's public humiliation of Marcus went viral, and his reputation took a massive hit. Clients started to cancel their deals, and competitors seized the opportunity to outshine him. His arrogance had cost him everything, but the story didn't end there. Marcus, on the other hand, used his newfound platform to speak out. He advocated for programs that provided second chances for those who had fallen on hard times. His story resonated with people from all walks of life, and he became a symbol of resilience and redemption. Despite everything, Marcus refused to hold a grudge against Ethan. Instead, he pushed for positive change, encouraging others to see the humanity in those they might overlook. A few months later, Ethan found himself facing a crossroads. His business was in decline and his reputation in tatters. Marcus, on the other hand, had flourished. Mr. Green offered him a position at his company, but Marcus turned it down, believing he could make a greater impact by using his voice. Marcus then started working with local organizations that supported homeless people, aiming to provide them with opportunities to turn their lives around. One day, after hearing about Marcus's success, Ethan reached out. He asked to meet, and to his surprise, Marcus agreed. Sitting across from each other in a small cafe, Ethan finally apologized for his behavior. "I was wrong," he admitted, his voice soft. "Judged you based on something that didn't define you." Marcus looked at him for a long moment. "It's okay, Ethan," he said. "Sometimes we all need a reminder of what really matters. I hope you've learned something from this." In the years that followed, Marcus continued his work, helping countless others and becoming a beacon of hope. Ethan, while still struggling to rebuild his reputation, began volunteering with local charities, using his wealth and influence for good. Both men had been changed by that one fateful encounter, but Marcus had come out on top, not because of revenge, but because he had stayed true to who he was. Share your thought in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to my channel. I pour my heart into crafting stories like this for you, and your support is the one helps me keep going.